Exciting times, George. Exciting times, brother. You're listening to
sir.
All Burgundy and Gold Everything, powered by the Urban Sports Team, Fox Sports Radio, 19.9 FM at 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia. I'm Wole, and I'm joined with my homie, George. We're also waiting on the homies, Glen and Mo. What's going on, George?
It's a nice night. It's Thursday night, so I know we got football on, college basketball started. It's a good time to be a sports fan.
Oh man, it's a very good time to be a sports fan, man. It's on and popping, bro. Like this is it, and you know what? Everybody's still talking about the Washington Commanders. Isn't that something cool?
It is something, and I should mention this, especially based on your excellent conversations that you've been having about the Wizards on the Urban Sports Team. Which, if you're watching and subscribe to this channel, you should be subscribed to that.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
The Wizards are starting to get a little somewhere with what they got.
Are they really?
I think so.
I hope so.
I like those young players.
I do like the young players. They're definitely hooping, man. They're definitely hooping.
Yeah.
And I've been very critical of that team. I have to. What's going on, Mo?
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing, man?
All right, Mo.
How you doing, West African brother?
Hey. Yeah.
You're here. I know you're here. Man. What's going on, Paul? What's going on, bro?
Paul.
What's going on, man? What's going on? But yeah, man. Like we was telling George, man, it's exciting times now in the DMV, man. They're like the talk of the town in terms of like national media now.
George, you don't understand. Everything on the Explore page on Instagram is Jaden Daniels. Somebody broke a law by taking the camera into the polling station and taking a picture of their ballot that they wrote in Jaden Daniels' name for president. Bruh. The city is filled with black, burgundy, and gold. Everybody is wearing this. I'm telling you, people are coming out the woodwork.
He ain't lying though.
I mean, I was a little kid in those days, but when I was living in the DC area before we moved to Florida, that was always the case. That was always the case when Washington was good and a contender in those days in the mid and the late 80s. Everybody was wearing their starter jackets or their hats. So they're
like the starters. Oh my God! Starters.
Oh yeah, I got one of those. By the way, I got one of those. I still got it.
I know that's right.
I still got it.
I know that's right.
So yeah, Mo, it's gotta be getting on Mo's nerves a little bit because God, it's been a long time, if ever, that you've had to deal with this.
I like the fanhood. It's the prognostications that are driving me crazy. But the fanhood, I'm not mad at because the city is up. It should be up.
I love this guy, man. I love this guy, Mo, man. Hey, Paul, got to get that 23 jersey now. I will talk about that, Paul. Streets is popping. Everybody hype for 23, man.
Yes, we are
talking about Chris Rodriguez, man. But everybody hype for the new 23.
Rough that man for his number in the middle of the night. He didn't even know what happened.
Hey, man, look, that's a good teammate, bro. That's a good teammate.
He didn't even know what
Everybody need a teammate like him, bro. He probably got the bag for it though, too. Don't get twisted.
He was not asked for that. They took that number. That was too fast. He was not asked to give up that number.
No, the money was probably right. Don't get it twisted. The money was probably right.
The team did that without him caring. They didn't care.
I'm telling you, he got something. You're right, because it happened way too fast. He got something. It happened
way too fast for him.
He got something.
That was done with.
Hey, C-Rod was one of the Rivera picks. He knows what he's got to do to stick around.
Thank you, Paul. They jacked that number, Paul. Listen, let me tell you, Wole. They put him down back to the practice squad just so he don't have a number officially.
Nah, man, they got to reward him after what he did. You know what? They got to reward him after what he did to the Giants, man. They got to reward him after he did to y'all, man.
Shoot, they'll make it work. They'll make it work anyway for that acquisition.
Hey, we're gonna talk about the trade though. Congrats on the thanks, Coach, man. Congrats on the Lattimore trade. Should make games against good teams more interesting. I agree
with that.
I agree. Definitely should. But hey, let's get into particulars real quick. Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast platforms. Just search All Burgundy and Go Everything. Tweet us at ABG_everything. Hit us up on IG and TikTok at ABG_everything. Make sure you subscribe to our All Burgundy and Go Everything YouTube channel. I know folks in this channel, you're on YouTube. I know you're already subscribed to the All Burgundy and Go Everything YouTube channel. But if you're on Facebook, or you're on X or whatever, if you want to hop over to the YouTube channel, hit that red subscribe button, like this video. Also, folks, even in the YouTube channel, hey, hit the like button. That's great for our algorithms. It makes sure people still find this when they're searching for Commanders content. So if you're on there right now watching it, just hit that like button. It really does do wonders for our algorithm. We are also streaming this on the Urban Sports Scene X account. So go ahead and if you're on X, you can watch it there. Again, it's all great for our algorithm. If you're on the Urban Sports Scene, try and watch it there, like it as well. Also, hey, hit us with a follow too as well on the Urban Sports Scene. So just hit us with a follow there as well.
And get a friend to follow us too.
Oh, you get a friend. Get a friend. Get your baby mama. Get your side piece. Get your best friend.
Why you gotta go there?
Look, get it all. You gotta explore everything. Like Mo's right. Explore everything.
Get
your enemies.
All the Burgundy and Gold lovers. Get them to follow.
Yeah.
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Content. Come on.
Exactly, man. Anyway, it's time for the pregame. Here's what we have on tap. Sports Journey, Washington Commanders reporter Lake Lewis Jr. will join us to examine the Washington Commanders acquiring cornerback Marshon Lattimore. Okay, Lake's already in the Bills I'm talking about. Let me bring my man Lake in right now. Right now, we got Lake Lewis Jr. What's going on, Lake?
What's going on, fellas?
It's the myth, the legend, Lake Lewis, man. This is what I'm talking about, folks. He's here. Got him in the building. Got my guy. You see Lake if y'all on social media, Lake is doing great work. He is everywhere doing everything, man. So shout out to Lake for all the work he's doing right now, especially, covering the Washington Commanders. Also, shout out for his podcast. His podcast is dope.
Appreciate that, fellas.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, definitely.
Good to have you.
Great to have you, Lake. Yeah. Hey, Paul, I'm not trying to get folks caught up. I just said, tell your side piece to follow us as well. That's all I'm saying. You got a side piece, tell her to follow us, subscribe to us on YouTube. That's all I'm saying. I ain't saying you got to snitch on yourself. Just tell your side piece that. It is what it is. I'm just keeping it. Look, I ain't tell you got to snitch on yourself. Jeez. Tough crowd. Hey, Mo, take us to the first question for my man, Lake.
Welcome to the show, Lake, man. I seen your enthusiasm all over social media this weekend, man, but I think there's more reason for this enthusiasm that you called a long time ago. Tuesday, the Washington Commanders traded for the New Orleans Saints cornerback Marshon Lattimore. Washington gave up a third-round pick, the one that was used in the Jahan Dotson trade with the Eagles, a fourth-rounder, and a sixth-round pick that they got back from the Saints in the John Ridgeway trade. The Commanders also received a fifth-round pick from the Saints. These are all 2025 draft picks. Thoughts on the work of Adam Peters did on this deal?
Yeah, I thought it was huge. They acquired a shutdown corner that has history of being just that. And, although their secondaries played well over the past few weeks, they still haven't had that home run corner, the guy that can literally lock up another team's best receiver. So, as far as the trade itself, I like what they did. Basically, when you look at the numbers and how everything worked out as far as the swapping of draft picks, the third rounder that they used, and actually they used their third rounder. They didn't use the Eagles.
Not Jahan. Was Jahan? Okay, I thought it was Jahan. Okay.
Yeah. So the third rounder that they kept was the Eagles' third rounder that they did acquire from Jahan. Okay. But that pick actually came to Philadelphia from the Dolphins. So Washington's
because they got the
third round pick that the Dolphins gave up, which means it's going to be really high. It's going to be a lot higher than the one that they gave up. So it just goes to show you that Adam Peters knows what the heck he's doing. And then for them to come out of it with a fifth rounder, basically move up around from the sixth rounder that they got for Ridgeway, I just think it was brilliant. And it solidifies this team, in my opinion, as not a team that's hopeful that they can compete and make a playoff run, but to a team that feels like they're capable of doing damage in the playoffs. And that's a big difference. It's a big mentality shift.
No, I agree. I think that's one thing. You got a guy, like you said, that has the track record of being a shutdown cornerback. Regardless of what people think about where he's at in his career, he's still far better than anything they have in this locker room right now at cornerback. And he's a guy that he may not be as good as he was a couple years ago, but he's still darn good. He's a darn good cornerback. And in this system, we've seen what Dan Quinn in Dallas has done with less, to be honest with you. And to me, to get a Lattimore, a guy who's going to be around the football, who's a veteran, who's savvy, who can teach some of the younger guys like Mikey, you know what I mean, to say, okay, this is how you play this, and especially Mikey being a physical corner, smaller guy, but physical corner. I think he's really good for Mikey. So I just think that I think it's a good signing in terms of culture. I mean, a good trade in terms of culture and just in terms of team building.
Yeah, I mean, he's only 28 years old. I mean,
that too, yeah.
It's not like he's over the hill. I mean, you know, he's a 4-time Pro Bowler, and you know, do you expect him to be a 4-time Pro Bowler going forward? Probably not. But he still can have that impact that they need. You know, and I just think that, you know, in the division they're in, you know, even the Giants have Malik Neighbors. You know, he's going to be a budding star. The Cowboys have CeeDee Lamb. And then, of course, the Eagles have 2 really good receivers in A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. So you needed someone that could match up with those guys, you know, and you know, kind of make them work for everything, as opposed to those guys going off on you. And I think for Washington to be able to do that this year signals that they really feel like they're a team to be reckoned with this year, you know, because into next year, they're probably going to draft a corner. They're probably going to maybe even sign a free agent corner. But the point is, this move to me signals that, you know, they feel like whoever they get in the playoffs, whether it's a Minnesota, you know, they have Justin Jefferson, Green Bay has the kid Watson. I mean, San Francisco, if they make it, you have Deebo Samuels, Ricky Pearsall. I mean, you have some guys there. Then, of course, with Detroit, Amon St. Brown, you know, so they realize that, you know, or Jameson Williams, they realize that whoever that they're going to go up against in the playoffs, they're to have a legitimate chance. They can't put everything on Jayden and that offense to score 30 points because, as you guys know, points are hard to come by once the playoffs start. So that's where you need your defense. And this defense, without Marshon Lattimore, is the number 5 pass ranked defense. So they've been doing something. I mean, they've actually been playing some football. But to get a guy like that in your secondary, it helps a lot. It really does.
Yeah, it's wild that they're ranked 5. But also it depends on who you play too. I won't even like I'm you know, I root for this team heavy, you know what I'm saying? So but I mean, especially you got Benjamin St-Juste. You know what? I'm not going to do that today. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go with what you said earlier. Like you know what? You said something about being a contender. And I totally agree with you. But I want to know your limits of being a contender. Like, what do you mean by a contender? Like a real contender?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think they have.
You're a Giants fan, Mo. Don't shake your head. Go ahead.
I knew Lake was going to take it there. That's why.
No. I'll pose it to you guys this way.
Yeah.
They have.
My man Paul says NFC Championship games. Want to make sure
I'm saying they have just as good a chance as any team that makes the NFC playoffs to play Detroit. I'm not saying they're beating Detroit.
I agree with that.
I'm saying, but they have just as good a chance as any of the other teams outside of Detroit to play Detroit.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think, you know, that's what I tweeted out earlier this week. Like, and I said it. Are they better than Detroit? Probably not. But this move signals that they want to find out.
Yeah.
and I'm okay with that, you know?
Yeah.
And I'll say this, guys, before anyone shakes their head and says this is crazy talk.
It's not.
When you have number 5, you have an opportunity to be in a football game. Yeah. And I mean, he's just that much of a difference maker. So when you have number 5 behind center, your guys think we can play and beat anybody because of this guy. Are they better than Detroit right now? No. I mean, come on. I mean, and I'm not even saying that like it's a silly question because they're a good football team. If Detroit came here and played them tomorrow, they probably would beat them. Yeah. Talking about Detroit would win. Yeah. If they went to Detroit probably would win. But we still have 8-9 more weeks before the playoffs. If this team were to get into the playoffs, which I think most of us think they will, are they getting in as an NFC East winner or are they getting in as a wild card? But I think right now the proof is in the pudding that this is a playoff caliber football team without question. And I think when you make moves like Lattimore, that's Dan Quinn and Adam Peters saying, we might be way ahead of the curve right now. We're ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
And we really want to see where we stack up, with the king right now, which is Detroit. But I'll also say this, no offense to Detroit, they've never been to the Super Bowl. And it might get a little tight, to finally have the team that everybody really sees is legit, good enough to win this whole thing. I mean, the whole thing. They're that good. But
it would be funny to have the two teams that haven't been in the NFC title game since 1991 play each other in the NFC title game this year.
And again, I'm saying this: when you have number 5, you're playing with house money right now. Anyway, it changes all the pressure in the world would be on Detroit. It's going to be on them regardless of who they play. I mean, it's not just Washington; it's anyone. Detroit is Super Bowl or bust. They don't get to the Super Bowl. They've had a failure of a season, considering how good they look right now. And I'm just saying, when you've never been somewhere, it's a little different come playoff time. And I think Detroit's that good, though. I mean, right now it's Kansas City and Detroit in the Super Bowl. I'm still taking the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. But they're in a dogfight right now as we speak.
It's a division game.
Yeah. So it's the NFL, man. If you have a quarterback, you have an opportunity. And as great as Jared Goff has played, and since he's been in Detroit, if you're going to make him beat you, that's not what their game plan is in Detroit. They don't ask him to beat you. They ask him to facilitate the beating.
Yeah.
So if you make him beat you, we'll see if he can do that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I'm like you. Like I feel like your point is my same exact point. You know what I mean? Like if you're looking at it without being a fan or being like or whatever, Detroit's like the best team in the NFC. That's not even a question.
Yeah.
And like everybody else, but the thing is how do you look at yourself compared to everybody else, right? And I think Washington could beat everybody else in the NFC. Right now, you can't say this team is playing like Atlanta's playing good football. So I'm not going to discredit Atlanta. They're playing good football, but you're not going to say like Washington plays Atlanta that they're definitely going to lose. You're going to be like, that's a matchup. Like that's a matchup. The Eagles, as good as they're playing football right now, it's a matchup. Like it's
just like the Pittsburgh game Sunday.
It's a matchup. It's a matchup. You're not going in saying Washington's going to lose to Pittsburgh.
Right.
You're going to be in that game like that's a competitive matchup.
Yeah.
Y'all think
even watch Vegas. Vegas got Washington as the favorites right now.
Yeah.
Y'all think the Commanders can beat the 49ers with Christian McCaffrey? Like,
I see him yet.
Yeah, I do because
I'll say this.
Is Ayuk out for the year?
Is Ayuk out for the year? No, question. Yeah. And the way they're playing now, they have a chance. Like, you telling me, do they have a chance? Yes, they have a chance.
I asked you, can they win? Can they?
No, it's the same. No, it's the same thing of saying like, can they beat? Like, if you're talking put it this way, if you ask me, can they beat Detroit?
Detroit's the only team that we feel like they
I'm gonna be real.
They would be a major outsider against Detroit, and they wouldn't be a major outsider against anybody.
Let me put it this way. I don't think there's anybody if you're gonna my eye test in the NFC. I'm gonna be this real. There's nobody in the NFC I think Washington can beat other than Detroit.
I feel the same.
That's what it is. Like, because I'm gonna be fair. I'm looking at how they play against, like they went against both. To me, like Lake said, the best team playing, forget wins and losses, was the Ravens. To me, like was the best team, like at that stretch. And I think the Ravens, to me, without wins or losses, you don't got to put anything. Washington competed with the Ravens.
I mean, they just won like 4 straight games.
Yeah, they competed with the Ravens.
And outside of tonight, last time I checked, it was 7-7 before we went on.
14-7 right now, Cincy.
Oh, okay. So I was going to say, outside of tonight, Baltimore's been smoking people at home.
Yeah, exactly.
Except for Washington.
Exactly.
And that showed me. So I was at that game, obviously, and it showed me there was no fear factor. I actually thought Washington was probably playing it close to the vest in the first half out of respect to the Ravens, out of a little bit of a fear for the Ravens. Second half, all that was gone. You know, it was like they were playing football, and you saw them doing some things. And to put this in perspective, everyone keeps saying, how good is Washington? How good is Washington? They've won 7 out of 8 football games, 3 in a row, but 7 out of 8 football games since they lost that game, the opening game to Tampa. That's incredible when you think about it. That is absolutely incredible. to have that kind of run with a rookie quarterback, a first-time coach, at least here, and 30 new players. I mean, it's incredible what they're doing. And, that's why that word recalibration was used and not rebuild, because I think they felt like they probably had something in play that they could compete for a playoff spot. Well, now they're not thinking about competing for a playoff spot, guys. They're thinking win the NFC East and get a home playoff game, a divisional game. And well, actually would be a wild card because only one team gets the bye, and that would be Detroit. But does Detroit have a loss? Yeah, they do. They have one.
Tampa. They got the one loss to Tampa.
So if Detroit were to get another loss, you might be talking about Washington being a number one.
They don't look like they're losing anytime soon.
Just remember that.
They ain't losing anytime soon.
Over and done with by any means,
Oh, Detroit
just remember that this 7 of 8 stretch came after that opening game loss, which was their 9th consecutive loss going back to last year.
Yeah, so and that's a great point. And you got to also think about this, guys. The meat of their schedule is behind them.
That's the one.
They have the Eagles twice.
Uh-huh.
So if they split with the Eagles and sweep the Cowboys, they win the division. Simple as that. And that looks really realistic to me, to split with the Eagles and sweep the Cowboys. The Cowboys are done. I mean, they're guys guaranteed to all start going on IR because they don't want to play anymore. So, and then you think they're beating Tennessee. I mean, that's a home game. You beat Tennessee.
They got
you play at New Orleans. They just fired their coach. They just traded their best defensive player to you. They beat New Orleans, and you have the Falcons.
That's a tough one.
That's in Washington.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man, this thing, Washington hasn't won 11 games. They're the only team in the NFL to have won 11 games in like 35 years. They look eerily close to being able to eclipse that and going. I mean, like they look like a 12-13 win football team. And it's mind-boggling to say that. But I assure you, if they were to beat Pittsburgh this week, it's on. And I mean that legit. It's on.
Dandon said the goals got bigger as they got more wins for sure. Division title is the goal, and home field advantage, like Lake said. Paul said other than the Eagles, the rest of the games are tune-ups.
I'm gonna say that.
No, but I'm just
Atlanta
saying,
ain't a tune-up. I ain't gonna hold you, Paul. Atlanta ain't a tune-up.
Atlanta
ain't gonna be a tune-up. I ain't gonna hold you. Atlanta, the way they're playing football.
Atlanta's a good football team.
Yeah,
that's
a good football team right now.
That might have playoff implications.
Yeah, I'm not gonna call them a tune-up.
But see, this is what I was trying to tell people. If you're Minnesota or you're Green Bay, you're not winning your division. Detroit wins the division.
True.
So even if Minnesota and Green Bay, the people, are better than Washington, well, guess what? You're going to be on the road regardless.
Yeah, which is always tough.
Right. So if Washington were to, say, be the number 2 seed or even the number 3 seed, they're going to have a home playoff game.
True.
And it balances everything out. If you think Minnesota's better, if you think Green Bay's better, if you think San Francisco right now is trailing Arizona. That Arizona beatdown looks pretty good right now for Washington, doesn't it? Yeah. Cincinnati winning tonight. If they win, they're 500, right back in the middle of things. That win in Cincinnati looks pretty good, doesn't it? So the loss to the Ravens looks pretty good, doesn't it? The loss to the Buccaneers, a playoff caliber team that made the playoff and won their division, and they still could win their division this year. Doesn't look bad. So I think people who are trying to find a flaw in the team. I mean, I can find a flaw in every team. I can find a flaw in the Kansas City Chiefs if you want me to find one. I can find multiple flaws.
Plenty.
But guess what they have?
Yeah,
they have a quarterback. When you have a quarterback, everything changes. If you don't believe me, just what's happening to Washington right now.
True.
Are they 7-2 with Sam Howell?
No.
They might be 2-7.
Hey, well, leave Sam alone, man. He's living his best life in Seattle.
You understand what I'm saying?
I get you. Yeah,
I have an elite quarterback, and when you have that, you have hope every Sunday. Because if your quarterback, as I keep telling people, if he's no worse than the second best player on the field, no worse.
Yeah.
If he's the second best player on the field, you're going to be in the football game. If he's the best player on the field, which Jaden has been in a lot of games, you're going to win the game. No questions asked. That's just the nature of football. And Washington finally has one that balances the tickets out for them.
True. Hey, so Mo, you want to take us to the next question, bro?
Man, so we know that Benjamin St-Juste had a rough stretch of games. Does this move to get and acquire Marshon Lattimore, does it move him to the bench because of the play of Noah Igbenogany and Mikey St-Juste? I keep saying that kid's name wrong.
So call him Mike.
Baby. I mean, you got Igbenogany right, so that's the hardest one.
He's Nigerian. You better get it right. He's
No.
not. He's West African. I'm Nigerian. You better get him right.
You
better get him right because Noah is Nigerian. You better get it right.
That makes sense. So I'll say this: Benji hasn't played as bad as people think. I mean, their secondary in general has not played bad. The problem is they don't have, outside of Mikey, they don't have any guys that can track a football. They don't have any playmakers at corner outside of Mikey. That's the problem. They're there. They're always in position. Sometimes they knock balls down, but they don't have a guy that can break on balls, take one to the house, and that's where Lattimore comes into play. So I'm kind of thinking right now the natural thought was Benji moves to number 2. Mikey goes back in the slot. But Mikey's playing good football on the outside.
That's what I'm saying, Lake.
So I'm thinking what's going to happen is there was a brief period when Benji did play in the slot.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad, but I think what's going to happen is Benji's going to be the nickel guy and a reserve guy on the outside, and Noah will actually move into the slot. I think that's what you're going to see. Yeah, I think that's what you're going to see.
I agree. I think Noah. That's what I'm saying. I think when we look at when Washington's defense is set, when they have, because usually the league is like 3 receivers out, right?
Yeah,
3 receivers out. And typically, it was usually it was Benji, Mikey outside, and Noah in the slot. Noah has been so, and I was hating. I was hating on Noah initially before the season. Like I was like, why is this dude getting burned? And I'm gonna be real. Like this dude has been very consistent, and he's been really good. He's been really good in the slot. Like his number is barely called of getting beat like that. His number, and Mikey, since maybe the first couple of weeks outside, other than he's the Jamar Chase game, he's playing Jamar Chase outside. I ain't blaming him, with no help on Jamar Chase. Yeah, but like. Other than maybe that game, Mikey's been really good outside.
Well, you saw what they did in the Baltimore game. That's when it happened because Zay Flowers was killing these guys.
No. Zay was killing Benji.
Yeah. So, but in fairness to that, that was a bad matchup for Benji.
But you know who else was killing Benji though?
But we can't keep making excuses.
Let me get this one. No, it wasn't just Zay though. Oh, Bateman was killing Benji too. He was getting worked by both. It was like Oprah. Like you get a car. It was one of them.
Y'all sound like Benji haters, man.
No. But I watched that. No. I wasn't a Benji hater. I watched like when that. I'm gonna be real. Like the same. My issue was not like a Benji hater. Like I believe in fairness. I believe in fairness. Emmanuel Forbes gets beat. It's cool. He gets beat. He gets beat by one dude. Like one dude, AJ Brown, right? He gets beat by one dude in Chicago. That's DJ Moore last year, right? I watched that Ravens game. I was being real. I was like, oh, Benji hasn't been bad. It's like whatever. Like he's looked like he's improving. But then he had a couple games. But that Ravens game, I was like, I literally saw Lamar pick on him, and not by just Zay. It wasn't just Zay. He went to when Benji was on Bateman. He went to Bateman. When Benji was on Zay, he went to Zay.
So I think what happened in the Baltimore game was they had some things happen that affected the game, like John Allen being one got hurt in that game.
True.
And it kind of threw off the rhythm of things. And the Cleveland Farrell didn't even make the trip.
He didn't play right. He didn't play
right. Yeah, exactly. So it was hard. It's hard enough to play Lamar, most electrifying player in the league. It's hard enough to contain this guy with no pass rush. He's going to kill you. And then you have that monster behind him that he can hand the ball off to now. It's hard. And I think for Washington, I think the respect level was a little too much for my liking until they started to figure it out later in the game, but it was too late at that point.
Oh yeah.
So, again, has Benji had his struggles? Absolutely. You can't deny it. Yeah. But I don't think he's played as poorly as some people think. I think if people are expecting for him to be D'Angelo Hall or Champ Bailey, he's not that kind of cornerback. He's not a playmaking cornerback. He's a grabby, hold you type guy. And Mikey's the playmaker, but now it's Marshon. And I think to have those guys on the outside where they can make plays, I think it would be nice. And if Noah can actually play underneath and Benji can be kind of like a jack of all trades when they need him out there, I don't think that's a bad look at all.
Just welcome in my man Glen on the show. What's going on, Glen?
What's going on, fellas? What's up? What's going on?
So yeah, I'm gonna say something that my man Deluxe agrees with you. Lake says Benji is a better contender than many give him credit for. Having a number one will allow the staff to use the other corners to maximize their individual talent. So I want to make sure my man Lake saying that like folks are a little too hard on him. I want people to know that people agree with you. Personally, I mean, but I'm with you though in terms of I don't want to rock the boat with the other individuals. I think that's where he said, corners. So my bad. Deluxe said corners. He meant corners. But like Noah's been so good at the slot, and Mikey has been good outside. So and you got a lockdown dude with Lattimore or close to a lockdown dude with Lattimore. I personally think like to what you were saying, and folks can like or love Benji or whatnot, but just not to rock the boat with the other individuals. I'm cool replacing Benji with Lattimore and let Benji be the fourth option on the outside for outside help. Like so, if Lattimore goes down or somebody needs a breather, if Mikey goes down, he needs a breather or whatever, or rotation, then you can slide in Benji. You know what I mean? If you want to. But in terms of the base set and they're running three corners, I would prefer Lattimore, Noah, and Mikey because I feel like those two individuals have played well. Like it hasn't like they haven't played good. They played well. Like when you're looking up,
I think that's the plan. I do think that that's what they envision. But I don't think they want to make it out to be like a demotion of Benji.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Make it more to be they're going to utilize him and his strengths in certain areas. Yeah. And a lot of teams run 4 wide receiver sets.
That's who yeah.
So he's going to play a lot. I mean, it's not like just because he isn't the first play of the game on defense that means he's been demoted. Mm-hmm. I just think that when you make a move for Lattimore, everybody and their mother recognize that you do not have a number one corner, and you have a really good young rookie in St-Juste still who's getting better and better each week and tackle. Has made plays, has some interceptions, but you just don't have that guy that you feel like you can say, take this guy, their best receiver, and put a lid on them. And they feel like they're going to have their whole defense changes because of Lattimore. And I tell you that like verbatim, it's going to be a pin your ears back, go forward defense now because you have a guy that can lock up somebody's receiver.
I agree. Hey, George, you want to say something? I feel like I cut you off earlier.
No, that's all right. You mentioned the Baltimore game. We could go back to the game on Sunday. Whether it was Neighbors, whether it was Slayton, Benjamin St-Juste was getting attacked out there regularly. So at some point, we got to quit making excuses for this guy, especially when Emmanuel Forbes gets roasted and everybody piles on him, and then St-Juste kind of skates with everybody except on this show.
Well, that's because Emmanuel Forbes was a first-round draft pick.
Yeah, that's true. That's the reason why.
Benji was a fourth-round draft pick, and if I'm not mistaken, fourth out of Minnesota.
He's around fourth, third, something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's a big difference. The expectation level is big already.
It is
for Emmanuel. We all know Emmanuel wasn't a first-round grade. That was a serious blunder by the former regime. And I'm not knocking Emmanuel. He's a great kid, one of the nicest kids you ever meet. And he is a pro, but he's not a first-round draft pick. And when you draft a first-round corner, he's supposed to be your lockdown corner, period. There's too much. It's not there for that. So, yeah. I mean, I even thought maybe you could see him move into the slot and see if he could do it, but probably not.
Yeah, I just think that I mean, it's not a great fit for him. I don't know. It's wild because I remember looking at mocks. It's not that I felt like Emmanuel was like a first round grade, but it was late first round. It wasn't where he was slotted at. Like he wasn't at. I know this for a fact. Where he got drafted, there were like a couple more corners better than him, supposedly. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh no, Christian
what did Joey Porter?
Gonzalez and
He was in the range of Joey Porter,
right there.
huh?
Yeah. Christian Gonzalez was right there to be.
Yeah, I know that's the problem. That's the real
Banks,
problem.
The kid Banks, you know,
yeah,
from Maryland, you know,
Maryland. But see, like, all right. So in terms of grade, Forbes was in that. He was with Maryland's dude and even Porter. Like he was in that range.
So my grade, I had him as the 6th best cornerback. And
you had him 6. So a lot of people had him higher because of the SEC and we did in the SEC as a corner and the lead.
But you know who I had number 1, and you guys are gonna be like, oh, here we go.
No, but I liked him. I like Porter.
But no, I had Porter 1.
Yeah, I had Porter. Porter was one of my.
I was a big fan of Porter's.
Perfect for Washington.
Yeah,
but
I was a big fan of Porter's at the draft.
So high second, all like high second. Yeah, high second. I had him like late first, high second. That's where I thought he would be at. But even that though, to your point though, like what I agree with you is that's it though. He's a first rounder. I mean, he's a first rounder, and what saves not.
Not to cut you guys off. Sorry about that. I didn't have Porter as number 1. I had
Gonzalez.
The kid. No. The kid from Illinois.
Oh yeah, he's tough. Witherspoon.
Yeah,
he's
Witherspoon.
Tough.
I had number 1. I had Porter number 2. I just want to make sure I clarified that.
No. He was tough though. And yeah, and to be real with you, it was between him and Gonzalez. Like everybody was kind of going between them two. But didn't he get drafted? He got drafted before Gonzalez, though, right? Witherspoon.
He got drafted in the top 10, didn't he?
Witherspoon was top 10.
He was top 10 overall.
Huh?
But Witherspoon went 5th overall.
Yeah, exactly. I thought so.
And then so Forbes, ironically, went ahead of Gonzalez and Banks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Banks. So it was like, what are you doing? The pick is in, and everyone. I was out there in the media room for the draft, and I'm thinking, they got Christian Gonzalez. How great is this for them? And when they said Emmanuel Forbes, I literally was just like, explain why. I understand you had a lot of INTs in college. No offense, but I mean, people were throwing on Mississippi State, so you're gonna make plays, you know. I just for the life of me could not understand that pick. And again, it's not to bury the kid, but when you pick somebody as a number 1, everything that comes with that pick is going to come with the pressure to produce, and they set him up for failure. They may have killed his career.
They set him for failure. I
agree with that. I think they did kill his career because the expectation is high. Right, and we all saw the Philadelphia Eagle game, right? When you're number 1, you're at least supposed to compete with AJ Brown, right? He didn't compete. He wasn't there.
You're supposed to get help over top, though. I mean, bro, you're not supposed to go like one-on-one.
Whether you get hot, whether help or not, when you're a first round guy, you're supposed to be that guy, right? And Ron, like, I agree with Lake. Ron Rivera did him a disservice. And they didn't do him a disservice when he didn't do well. They pulled him and put him back in and pulled him to put him back in.
They took his confidence.
Yeah, you kill the kid's confidence.
Richard Sherman got help over top. Richard Sherman was one of the best cornerbacks in the league. And he got help over top with like the realest dudes.
Yeah, but Richard Sherman also puts you on an island too.
But if he had to go against like if he had to go against a Julio Jones, he would not go Julio 1-on-1. It was never Julio 1-on-1 with Julio. It was Earl Thomas over top. Like Earl Thomas was over top.
Like, I mean, just because he had Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas,
they were over top. They were his safety valve. Like there's certain dudes like.
But let's be honest though.
Come on, y'all.
Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor were doing what? They were in the box a lot.
Well, Earl was free safety. Earl was free safety. Not Earl. Earl was over top. Earl was on that. Earl was over top.
Earl was the second coming.
Earl was the dude. Earl was the dude.
Ed Reed.
Yeah, Earl was playing Ed Reed role.
Like Ed, he was putting like some Ed Reed.
I'm just saying, like certain dudes. All I'm saying is certain dudes, like even Paul say center field. Like there's all I'm saying is certain dudes. When you're checking certain receivers, you know not to go 1-on-1 regardless. That's all I'm saying.
This is the thing. I can't name one great lockdown corner that doesn't have that overtop. I mean,
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Reeves didn't have overtop help.
Yeah, he did. He
barely.
had
Really was barely had overtime help.
he
had
had
barely.
Adams, didn't he?
Champ didn't have overtime help.
Champ didn't have that much overtime help.
Nah, Revis with the Jets. Even Rex Ryan was like he didn't give him no help. He didn't give Revis no help.
So
Champ here didn't get no help. I ain't gonna lie. We know the Champ here didn't get no help though. Champ here didn't get no help. Champ
In
in
Denver,
DC
though,
no help.
yeah, they had some good safeties in Denver, though. They did have some good safeties in Denver.
Yeah,
he was. They played Champ one. They played Champ on the island.
Atwater was finished with
Champ.
Champ, I know Champ here got no help. I know that. Champ here was one-on-one.
Champ was a lockdown.
Yeah, Champ here was one-on-one. I do know.
Patrick Peterson in his prime in Arizona.
Yeah, he's one-on-one. All I'm saying is like there's certain. You're right. There's certain dudes that do it. There are lockdown dudes. Like even your favorite corner.
But did Deion not have any help?
No, Deion get no help. Deion didn't need no help.
Wait. You're saying Deion didn't have any help?
No, Deion's one side. Atlanta Deion?
When Deion was in San Francisco, didn't they have?
I mean, but they schemed on the other side. They gave him one side and schemed the other side.
And Eric West
Deion was on a real island
out there on the other side.
No, Deion was on a real island. You can be out there, but Lake, you know this. Like you could be out there, but you're not helping him.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're helping someone else.
So you're saying Richard Sherman was getting the help?
Though. Oh, he was getting Earl Thomas. Earl Thomas was helping out on that side. On certain people, Earl Thomas was helping out.
What about when Richard Sherman left?
It's cover 3. They ran cover 3. Yeah, they ran the cover 3. That's what I'm saying. They ran cover 3. There's certain dudes
Earl was center field all game.
Like Randy Moss is like, all right. It's like, yeah, Randy Moss. Are you playing Randy single up?
I don't think anybody could.
Exactly. All I'm saying is certain dudes in this league, like AJ Brown, his build, you're not playing a skinny dude one-on-one with AJ Brown. That doesn't happen in life.
No,
we're not going to do that.
We know that.
Ron Rivera decided to do that.
Lattimore.
Yeah. I agree. Ron Rivera did that. So when you're saying you're supposed to do that, no, it's matchup. Like that's a smaller dude against AJ Brown. I'm gonna put him a dude in a 4-4 with that body style one-on-one with AJ Brown.
Well,
that's bad coaching.
Gonna make you guys go crazy, but Forbes should have never been on him. You know who should have been on him?
There you go. I agree with that too.
You know who should have been on him?
What's that? Benji St-Juste?
That's the only body size.
Body wise, yeah, I agree. And it should have been. And you know what? You're right. And it shouldn't have been one-on-one either. I agree with you though. I agree with
why
you.
they made the trade.
I'm with you. I agree with you.
We got there. We got back there eventually. We got back there eventually. We chased the rabbit there.
Look, the best thing for Forbes right now is to sit, learn, work hard, and take advantage of the opportunity when it comes. Like, Glenn, you had a question about Forbes, right?
Yeah. I mean, with Lattimore coming, what does this mean for Forbes, right? What does it mean for Emmanuel Forbes? Will Emmanuel Forbes not be a Washington Commander here in a few months? You know what I'm saying? And does this mean this? Are we at the end of the road with Emmanuel Forbes?
I mean, I think, like, I can't speak for people, but my gut reaction is telling me that the reason why he's still on the roster is because he is a nice kid. When I tell you that, I mean, he really is.
Just a kiss of death.
And I think they're wanting for him to be reprogrammed and then it just come on. Hence, like a Chris Rodriguez,
Yeah.
Anyone that was in Ron's stable, a lot of these guys, they have to like recalibrate, rebuild. And it just hasn't happened with Emmanuel yet. And so I don't know if they feel like they want to give up on him right now when they don't necessarily have to. Like people were saying, you cut him. No, you don't really cut a first rounder and not get anything.
Yeah, I would say the same thing.
So they might feel like what they're doing is helping build him up to get something for him. Maybe a 6, because that's probably what you're going to end up getting.
Yeah, that's right.
But, you can get the 6 back you just moved up and got. So in this trade. So if you ask me, do I think he's going to be there next year? Emmanuel, I would tell you no. That's my action. Because I don't see how he's going to be on the field to make a difference, to show them that they should keep him around. The other thing people have to remember, that wild card part, Quan Martin can play corner if he had to. because remember, he did that in college at Illinois.
Yeah,
he was a hybrid. He was a safety, and a corner. So if push came to shove and it was drastic that they had to do something like that, you would. And I'll say this to put some things in perspective. Michael Davis is still on the roster. He hasn't done it.
Yeah. Oh, he sucks.
So if you were going to get rid of Forbes, you would have been done that. So I think they're trying to see if they can work with him. But I don't think you're going to see him out on the field a whole lot this year.
I know. I don't want to see Michael Davis on the field either. I ain't gonna lie to you.
No.
And you're not.
Hey, Danny got a question for you. He says, do you rank Lattimore a top 5 or top 10 cornerback in this league?
Top 5. Absolutely.
Top 5? When healthy? When healthy, right?
New Orleans doesn't, outside of what Cam Jordan, they don't really have pass rush,
Mm-hmm.
So this guy's been manning up the Mike Evans. They have their heated wars, but he's been manning up those type of guys with no pass rush. And I think when coming here, the fact that they do have some pass rush here, Dante Fowler's playing the best football of his career.
Yes.
So you think of what they're doing defensively here. Fedarian Mathis has really come in and started playing well. Johnny Newton is playing lights out. And then, of course, Dorrance Armstrong. They're getting pass rush. But when they get those pass rush and their corners can't, make a play on the ball, I mean, they'll tackle everyone. This might be the best tackling secondary in football. Seriously, they tackle you. The problem is they're tackling you because somebody caught a pass on you. Now you got a guy that can make plays. You're going to really see the pass rush, and you're really going to see these linebackers who are really playing well. And Jordan McGee's getting indoctrinated back into this thing, coming back from his injury. He's got crazy speed.
I like him.
I'm telling you guys, man, it's getting ready to turn up even another level. And it's just going to be interesting to see how they do it.
No, I like him. Now I was watching some Lamar. Just looked like Lamar hurt. That's why I was watching this game.
Oh, don't say that.
Stop watching this game.
Don't say that.
Hey, George, you got George, you have a question for Lake too as well, right?
Yeah, I do. Adam Peters said something very interesting, that when they were thinking about making this Lattimore deal, he was looking at both what was going to be available in free agency and the draft, and that's why part of the reason why they made this deal. Yeah. Do you think they should rework Lattimore's deal after the season, and is that going to be linked to if this team, say, wins a playoff game and gets to round 2 of the playoffs?
No, I think they absolutely rework his contract. And he actually may make more money off the contract, but it's going to be so it's cap friendly. And this team has a boatload of cap money. So I kept, I had a couple of people say, well, why would you give up so much for this guy? And I'm like, basically they got him for a 4th round draft pick, a 4-time Pro Bowler. You're not drafting anyone coming out of the draft that will be available when you pick. So remember, Washington doesn't have plans on picking in the top 10 this year. They don't have plans of probably picking in the top 20. So you're not finding a shutdown, lockdown corner in the 20s that's going to come in and change your defense. You need somebody that's experienced, that can do it, who's still relatively young. So I think them bringing Lattimore here wasn't just for this year. It's for the next 3-4 years. And I do think that because they have the money, they're going to be able to re-sign a lot of people. And a lot of the guys that they brought in this past year on free agents were 1-year deals. So they're going to have maybe 12 to 15 people they're going to have to re-sign. And I think they're going to do that.
My man Deluxe has this comment. He says, I think Mike Davis gets released once Marshon is healthy. We'll make room for Effie or JJP when he returns from IR. It's about Baptiste. Do you think that's true? You think they cut Mike Davis? I
do. I actually could see that happening. And that's the key, like Emmanuel or Mike Davis. So I mean, the only thing going for Mike Davis is he's one of their free agent signings. Yeah. So, sometimes people stick with what they went and scouted and saw and brought in. as opposed to what they inherited, which was Emmanuel. But I just, again, I think that they're hoping that the light bulb comes on for Forbes. You know, there's been times where earlier in the year, he wasn't playing that bad. He really wasn't, you know, and you can see he would break on balls and everything.
Yeah.
He got an interception.
So he does have an eye for the ball. You can't deny that. But it's just the size, man. It's just, he's too small. I mean,
and he gambles. To me, it seems like he doesn't read the ball very well in the air. You go back to early on in his career, there's a lot of times that he misjudged things. He missed interceptions by a fingertip, or he doesn't. You know, he got 12 deflections or something like that this year since he's been in the league. But you get deflections. We don't want deflections. You want picks.
Yeah, if you put your hand on the ball, you guys know. Like, you notice your hand touched the ball, you're supposed to pick it off. Or if you're supposed to catch it.
Look how many picks he's missed where it was big deals, and it could have changed his whole narrative. Think about it. If he gets the picks that he missed, we saying a different thing about Emmanuel Forbes.
This is my problem. I agree with you saying, but in comparison to like this, the other dude that you talk about drops picks all the time. Like that's what I'm saying. Like if you go Friday, that's what it gets me. Like folks be frying this dude. Who got more interceptions this year? St-Juste or Forbes? Forbes. He has one pick. The argument, like folks be getting on, like I wish people keep the same energy with St-Juste. That's all I want in life.
But I'm telling you,
that's all, man. I feel like folks don't have the same energy.
But you can't because
in the first round,
right? Forbes was like first round draft pick.
I feel you. I'm just saying, like one dude is playing. Like I'm just saying, like I guess I'm grading it. I'm with you. Like I know that's how people are always gonna look at it. I'm with you, but I just grade it off of like who playing, who not playing. And I'm like, when folks are all like, "Yo, he drops picks," and I'll be like,
okay, so let me
always around the ball. He'll never locate a football to save his life.
We said the same thing. We told Deron Payne missing sacks.
No, I agree. No, I'm saying, but no one says. Look,
the same thing.
I will go and say Ridgeway's playing better. He's playing better. I'm gonna keep it a bean. Like all I'm saying is like, yo, when we talk about the same stuff you're talking about Forbes, right? Even like all that said, his ball skills are better than Forbes. I'm better than St-Juste. His ball skills are better than St-Juste. The stuff that you're concerned about, if you're telling me like off of physical ability, I agree with I'm with you, like he has that over Forbes. Period. That's God given. That's what God gave you. Long arms, 6'2", your build. God gave you that. That's what it is. But in terms of like you're gonna tell me like ball skills and being around, I'm gonna tell you Forbes is better than St-Juste. I'm sorry.
Okay, so this is the other issue. It's not just that you were a first round draft pick; it's money.
That too,
involved, and it is what it is in every sport. If you're paying somebody a lot of money, you're going to give them every opportunity to not make you look like an idiot for giving them that money.
True.
and that's kind of how this thing might shape up.
Oh, Benji's still on. He's still on contract. What contract he on?
I don't think Benji's here next year. I don't.
Oh, you don't think he on it either?
No, I agree with that.
I can see that too.
No.
Oh, that's right. Okay, my question. My man Chef has a question for you. Like he said, would you guys take a flyer on Yannick Ngakoue? Another Nigerian.
Yeah, I know. Not now. Not right now. and I say that because I think this team is set up right now. You went and got the corner that you did need right now. A top 5 corner, in my opinion. So you got that. And I meant top 5 as far as proven, because there's a couple
of rookies I know you're talking about
balling. but I'm just saying like top 5 proven. But I think this team is set up to make their biggest splash this offseason when they have a second draft class, because this first draft class has been lights out. So when you have a second draft class and you have a second round of free agents, because now you're not going to have to sell why you should come here. It's going to be selling why I don't want you here. Because now they have Jaden and they have all this success. People are going to want to come here and play. So this offseason to me is going to be the seismic shift. And I'm saying this, and I'm going out on record and saying this. I have so much confidence in Adam Peters and what he's doing, his eye for talent, that I think this second offseason puts Washington in a Super Bowl contender category going in for next year.
That's good. That's good. I like that. You think it'll be like Detroit?
I think they will have closed the gap with Detroit considerably. And I'm not so sure that if they play Detroit in the playoffs this year, they don't play with them. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I don't think they're going to get put to sleep. I just don't feel like that because they have an elite quarterback that changes games.
The only thing that scares me about them playing Detroit is not really, it's wild. It's not even like quarterback play from Detroit. It's just I feel like what they do well is we're weak at.
And what's that? What are we weak at?
That run up the middle, they would run all day. If the Giants can run against us, they can run all day against us, bro. I'm sorry.
I think, I agree with you that we're giving up the run.
Yeah.
But I think it was pick your poison type thing.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to get passed on, you're going to get ran on. And sometimes it's like, we're going to give up the run because it's not like you got Saquon Barkley back there,
Yeah.
So it was like a pick your poison type thing. And I think they felt like they'll let the Giants move the ball in between the 20s. But when the Giants got in the red zone or something like that, you could tell the Giants did not want to throw the football. They were not confident.
Yeah.
And yet, Daniel Jones still had a pretty good game against us.
No,
even if it was all
that,
the second half.
Well,
that's George too. But it's like if you look at the body,
it was never in doubt. I know the score looked a certain way. Washington was never in jeopardy of losing that football game. It was a business trip. That's all that was. It was get up there and get the hell out of there with no injuries. That's what that was.
Yeah.
They did not pour it on. I mean, they could have scored at the end of the game. And then the outcome is what? 13 points.
It could have been.
They beat the Giants. That was a game that if you didn't know any better, if you didn't see scores, you would think Washington won that game by 20 plus points. That's the separation that those two teams had. Seriously. Defensively, they played prevent defense in the second half. That's what that was. And it was just to have Giants burn clock. That's what it was. And unfortunately, the tight end route, they got beat with the Ravens doing the same thing. I think Joe Wick said that today to us out at the facility. They got beat with the same play, that seam route. So he said they took that play out of the book now. They're not doing that anymore.
Okay.
Good. But
that's good.
But I'm just saying, like, you could clearly see that they were a superior team to the Giants. That wasn't even close. They've been better than most of the teams they've played. And again,
against the run,
it didn't look that bad against Baltimore at all.
Against the run, I feel like against the run, I feel like most dudes, like I feel like you look at the Tampa game, both Giants games, the Ravens game. That's Derrick.
Chicago. Your boy Swift had a 70.
Hit the big run. He hit the big run.
He had a big
they're near the bottom in yards per carry. They are near the bottom in yards per carry.
Yeah,
and
I just feel like that's been a theme. Like teams have been able to run. When the Lions, they got a two-headed monster of good backs. It's not like
vicious running backs.
These are good backs.
No. They're brutal. I mean,
they're brutal. So I just feel like what they do well.
That's different. But you know what? You have to understand when you're a top pass rank defense, you're probably a porous run defense.
Exactly. I agree with that.
You never really both.
You both.
Unless you're the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, they different.
So I'll say this. I'm going to say this for anybody who says Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh did have their first month. They did have a formidable schedule. They did. This last month, they've played losing teams across the board. They played the Cowboys, and they lost to the Cowboys, by the way.
Yeah, Justin Fields does
right. They lost. I mean, they beat the Jets. And then this past week, they who did they play? They won.
The Raiders? Is it the Raiders?
The Raiders.
Was it the Raiders?
No, it wasn't the Raiders.
No, who was it? It was a sorry
Pittsburgh
team.
got a bye this week. I mean, the week before.
It was a bad team week before. I know it was it
so basically, their last four games were against teams that have like
they played the Giants. They played the Giants on Monday night.
That
was their last game.
Hung with them, by the way.
That's true.
So everybody keeps saying Pittsburgh's going to come in here, this big bad bully, and beat up Washington. Nah, man, that's not happening.
Well, that's the reason. I don't think they're beating up Washington at all. I actually don't.
If they win, they're going to earn it. I mean, but they're not. It's not going to be the Pittsburgh games where they used to come in town and it was like a home game for them.
Yeah.
Towels everywhere.
The Monday night with Leftwich, that's the one I'll never forget.
Yeah, it's not going to be that this time. It's not, and I just think it should be a good football game. But I think Pittsburgh has more questions to answer than Washington does.
So Paul has a comment. I want to see if you agree with this. Like he says, he's talking about me though. He says Lattimore will change because you'll see Levin in the box more. Do you think you'll see more individuals in the box with Lattimore?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I think Jeremy Chin's been playing so well.
He's been playing good. I'm not going.
They don't really need to force him to be in the box now. I mean, he's actually been playing real. He looks like the guy that was runner-up to Chase Young. Probably should have been Defensive Player of the Year that year.
Yeah.
But he looks like that guy now. He's comfortable in the system. I think a lot of people have to understand that Simmons, the defensive backs coach, he and Jeremy Chin have history. I mean, he was there with him, when he was in Carolina. So Jason Simmons. So, there's familiarity there. And now guys are really comfortable. They're able to play free. And think of his game, with Lattimore, and I agree that he, you can put him in the box, but that's what Quan's doing. I mean, Quan is a guy that's versatile. He's a Swiss Army knife. He's free safety, but he can come in the box too. So they're gonna mix it up, and I love what they're doing with the defense. It's been a lot of smoke and mirrors at times, but you start to see once they scale down the defensive playbook, they just started playing better football. And I think now you can scale it down even more because you got a guy that you say, take this side of the field away from them and everybody else can do their thing. It's just going to be really interesting to see how fast Lattimore gets on the field and how fast they can turn it up.
I can't wait. Hey, Lake, man, appreciate you being on, man. Before we let you go, man, how can folks catch you on social media? How can they catch your content?
Yeah,
put all that out there, man.
Yeah, you can check me out on social media at Lake Lewis Jr. And then also, you can subscribe to my shows. Is the Lake Lewis Jr. show on YouTube or on, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and the channel. YouTube channels changed, man. So now it's the Lake Lewis Jr. So that's the YouTube channel. You can check it out. And then, of course, I also do post-game recaps with ABC as their insider locally on WJLA. So you'll see me on the field on Sunday as well.
All the time, man. It's great. With great stuff. Deluxe has one question for you before you leave. How do you think Percy's looking so far?
That's my guy, man.
I know, yeah.
Talked had a long. Matter of fact, Percy and me putting something together. Another remote. So
that's good.
We were thinking about
let
Monday,
me know when you do it. I'll come. I'll go down.
Of course, we were thinking about maybe announcing Monday.
All right, let me know.
Because the short schedule, we may not be able to. Trent Scott wants to come through as well. So,
HBCU do. Yeah.
But Percy, man, I like him, and they like him a lot too. He was in a bad situation last year, his rookie year. And he told us, Wole. He told us literally, they don't know what they're doing at times. But now they like him because he's a great tackler. He's one of their better tacklers back there. And he's just getting comfortable too. So he's definitely a guy that gives you some versatility as far as a nickel, but he can play both strong and free safety. So yeah, I mean, it's just a nice compliment at times back there when he gets his reps.
They do like him.
With the problem there, real quick, I know you got to go. Like, a lot of these guys' contracts are coming up at the same time, and that's going to be see how well Adam Peters can maneuver and manage, because a lot of these guys' money and a lot of guys are one year deals, and a lot of guys' contracts are running out. So the off season is going to be key.
Well, I think the beauty of this is you won't have to sell, a guy to sticking around for something that has a stench to it, now, because these guys have a centerpiece, attraction in Jaden, where next year they're probably going to get multiple primetime games. I mean, that's just it comes with the territory. Guys are going to want to stick around for that because they know now they may not have to pay for dinner when they go out. They might. It's a little different when you winning, man. Especially in this town, we're all the good times. So, some of these guys, my dude Brian, B. Mitch, He's living off that Super Bowl ring from 30-something years ago. You know?
Yeah,
so that's what I'm saying.
Man, the
Win,
posse?
if you young and you win, I'm not gonna say it because I was about to say now you really could talk about that side piece. So let me stop. I'm just saying, if you're young and you winning, man, you know.
As long as you win it, that's what it's
all good.
Yeah, so that's all good. I'm good. I'm out the game,
I know you are, man. I know you are. You got a good one, Lake.
I'm
you got a good one. You out the game,
down.
bro.
I'm good.
You good. All right, Lake, man. Thanks for being on, man. Appreciate you.
All right, appreciate you guys. Take care.
All right, man.
The most trusted name covering the Washington Commanders, Lake Lewis.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. All right, Lake, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, Chocolate City here. Baby, we back.
Hey, that was the problem with Chase Young. He was spending too much time in the streets.
Hey, man, look. I saw Chase outside too. I've seen folks.
I know. You can tell.
I've seen Chase, but it wasn't even like, I'm gonna be real. When I saw Chase outside, he wasn't even. People be wild. I've seen a lot in my years of out here in this area. I've seen a lot of Redskins Commanders outside. I've seen your favorites. I've seen your favorites outside.
Oh, I know.
What I like about your favorites that they still they balled up on Sunday though. I ain't gonna hold
I got some stories. I got some stories being at some charity functions for some people. But
yeah,
we told on the podcast.
Yeah, nah, it was a vibe. Growing up in the DMV it was a vibe. Mm-hmm. Definitely was, man. I'll say this. I'll say this much. Those Miami Hurricanes, man. Them dudes are fun.
That's one way of putting it.
They were fun, man. I ain't gonna hold you. They were fun.
We gotta hear a Miami Hurricane story.
I had fun with the Miami Hurricanes. I ain't gonna lie.
I think I know you're talking about. I had fun with that dude.
Yeah, it was fun. I had a good time with them. But hey, y'all, this was awesome show, man. Appreciate Lake for being on, man. But before we tune out, make sure don't forget to tune into our pregame show Sunday, right before the Steelers game, which will. So our pregame will be at 12 o'clock. It'll be noon. So our pregame start at noon. And then right after that, we'll have our postgame show, which should be around, let's say 4:15. These games been going fast, though. I don't know. They've been going real fast.
Football, baby.
So we'll say like 4:15-ish. So, yeah, make sure y'all pull up for that. Hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast platforms. Just search All Burgundy and Gold Everything. Also, tweet us at ABG_everything. And hit us up on IG and TikTok at ABG_everything. If you're on YouTube right now, just hit that like button right now. I know most of y'all are subscribed to us already. Hit that like button. It does great for our algorithm in terms of this content being searchable. And if you're watching this on other platforms, go to our All Burgundy and Go Everything YouTube channel and also subscribe to our channel. Also like this video as well. Who's this? LC Commanders. I'm reading this. Commanders over Steelers and Eagles next 2 weeks. 9. Okay, all right, bro. You ain't cursed, so I'm gonna use that one. That was cool because you ain't cursed. Yeah. So I'm gonna use that one. Hell yeah. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Taj, man, yeah, Taj. You know what time it was outside back in the day. They not as old as us. We was outside. We was outside. You know what I'm saying? I was in a good life, bro. I got harassed by like Donnell Dockett. I was living my life. All right, so anyway, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Anyway, you've been listening to All Burgundy and Go Everything, powered by the Urban Sports Team and Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia, for ages. Deuces. We are out. Hey, Glen.